Okay, so recently the African Fact Zone people shared this. They says there are 135,200 US dollar millionaires in Africa, a continent. USA has 21.95 million millionaires. China has 6.01 millionaires. The UK has 3.06 millionaires. France has 2.87 million millionaires, and Japan has 2.83 million millionaires. They are all countries. Okay, this is something, should I say, sad or worrying, that we are actually going to discuss the most continents with the most millionaires and also African countries with the most millionaires too. But before that, it is believed that Africa has 135,200 US dollar millionaires in the continent, whereas countries like USA having about 21.95 million millionaires, China having about 6 million millionaires, UK having 3 million millionaires, and France having about 2.8 million people who are millionaires in their countries. But Africa as a continent with the 54 countries, about 1 billion people, having only 135,200 millionaires. What is wrong with the continent Africa? But before that, what is wrong? Why is this so? Why is this so? Well, see this. Alright, so this one says we are too poor as a people. We need innovative leaders across Africa to transform the fortune of the continent. Technological innovations is one aspect we can leverage on to bring prosperity to the mother Africa. We need just visionary leadership at the helm of the affairs. Okay, so there is actually some important factor point that an African actually shared on a post. When African Thousand shared this, he is saying that Africa needs a visionary leaders who are actually into technology, not the old people. We are having some old people who were actually born or graduated from their universities when there was not even WhatsApp or Facebook. These guys know nothing about technology. They're just in there being old age and just, the African culture saying that old people are actually supposed to be the wisest people, so they are just leading us because they are old age and they are giving the respect because they are old. But this is about the time of the world that the world needs technological advance, people that are learned, people that actually knows what they are up to and how they can actually modify and also create things into magnificent and also provide policies that can actually improve the society. But Africa is lacking these minds. We are having old age minds that actually are still stuck in the old age. These guys that still are not even, I can tell this for a fact that some MPs or ministers out there who doesn't even know how to use a smartphone. They are still locked down in these things. They don't even know how to even use some certain apps. They don't know much about the technological world. They are just being ministers of foreign settings, policies, or ministries, and they are actually doing nothing concerning advancement of technology, and they are still being led with the old ways of doing things. That is actually affecting Africa. But hey, let's make our studies or our video or our content more broadly and more interesting, okay? We'll see this. So the African narratives shared this. They says top 10 cities or regions in Africa with the highest number of US dollar millionaires. Okay, so it's according to the Africa Wealth Report 2024. Now we are going to discuss about top 10 cities in Africa with the highest millionaires in Africa. Mind you, it's believed that Africa have about 135,200 millionaires, okay, in the whole continent of about 1 billion people. But while some countries having about 20 and then 2 or 6 million people have been millionaires, a whole continent of Africa only have 135,000 people being millionaires. Now let's see the cities or countries in Africa that have the most millionaires. Well, this is where it all get interesting, where South Africa actually leads Africa with this one. See this. So number 1 city is Johannesburg, South Africa, with 12,300 millionaires. Number 2 is Cape Town, South Africa, with 7,400 millionaires. Number 3 is Cairo, Egypt, with 7,200 millionaires. Number 4 is Nairobi, Kenya, with 4,400 millionaires. Number 5 is Lagos, Nigeria, with 4,200 millionaires. Number 6 is Cape Town, Winelands, South Africa, with 3,600 millionaires. Number 7 is Durban, South Africa, with 3,500 millionaires. At number 8, we have the Garden Route, South Africa, with 3,200 millionaires. At number 9, we have Casablanca, Morocco, with 2,800 millionaires. And then at number 10, we have Pretoria, South Africa, with 2,100 millionaires. So as you can see, at the top 10 most richest or millionaires people or cities in Africa, South Africa had at number 1, at number 2, at number 6, at number 7, number 8, and number 9. 6 out of the 10 cities in Africa with the most millionaires. So with this, we can actually say South Africa has the most millionaires in Africa. Yep. So out of the 135,000, South Africa might have at least about half of it being from South Africa. That is actually impressive. How or what are the South Africans doing right that they are making more millionaires and actually advancing themselves in this health? Well, see this. It says that to be classified as a high net worth individuals, that is HNWIS, that is high net worth individuals, someone must have investable assets of $1 million or more. This excludes their primary residence, collectibles, consumables, and consumer durables. Data sources by Henley and Partners. Okay, so they're saying that in order for you to be part of this $1 million or millionaires group, you should be excluded with these things, like their primary residence. Where you are staying right now is not part of it, of your millions or your assets. Okay, they are not part of your collectibles. Some things are not your consumables, the things that you wear or you eat, or your consumer durables, or the things you have, that how quality they are. It does not guarantee you to be part of this category of being a millionaire here. What they are actually talking about for you to be a millionaire is your assets, the kind of things that you have that are exceeding, or that is either $1 million up or exceeding $1 million. That you can actually be part of this list, being a millionaire here. Apart from that, doesn't matter your fancy cars, your fancy dress, or fancy foods that you eat, or your fancy place that you visit, that will actually grant you to be a millionaire part of this. No, you gotta talk with your asset. Let that know how you actually valued, what you have that actually makes you the millionaire. That is where we can actually get to this point. Okay, so this is something interesting for you guys to know a lot about the African continent and about that large. Well, let's consider this. Well, someone came and says Africa has so much undervalued herself with this huge amount of resources and ready markets. We are struggling with Vision 2063, yet the world is 100 steps ahead of us. Leaders need to do enough. Well, people are saying that it's all boiled down to leaders, though. Africans believe that the leaders actually needs to be more innovative. We have to really bring in new ideas that can actually tap into the African resources and create more rich people and also eliminate poverty. Because Africa have a lot of things that are untapped, but because of poor leadership, we are so actually not being able to tap all these things. But these are some concerns, though. Someone says, those African millionaires have put in more resources and hard work to attain that level than those of the United States. Okay, so this one believe, he actually bringing a debate here though. He's saying that he believes that the African millionaires have actually put in more hard work and have actually attained more struggles than a millionaire in the US. He believes that the system and the innovative and the ideas and how they have actually been molded can actually grant them for easy passage to be a millionaire in the US than to be a millionaire in Africa. Well, that is his point, though. For you, at the comment section, let me know what you think about this point. Do you believe that Africans are finding it too hard to be millionaires than the United States or the European countries? Can you actually share that in the comment section? Let us know how you actually see that to be true or false by what our brother is actually saying. And lastly, this one is saying because Africa produce nothing, everything including printing papers is imported. How can Africa produce millionaires? Well, he believed that because Africa is actually less innovative, less industrious, how are you going to produce these millionaires if you are actually more dependent on just buying finished goods and selling them? You're just creating least millionaires. But if you actually to look at for being innovative and being industrious, you can actually be having more of these than other countries or continents. Because hey, trust me, we have the resources that we can actually make our people rich, but actually lacking then innovative ideas to tap into it and make good use of our resources. That's the problem here. So this African time, hope you have actually learned something. You have also noticed that how millionaires how South Africa is actually doing. Big congratulations to South Africa on their milestone, and big shout out to them for always being part of this and making this great initiative for the African continent. Stepping up for us though. Hopefully Africa can increase its numbers in 2025 and 2026 and beyond, and then Africa can be shining bright as the morning star. Shout out to my people, South Africa. Big shout out to every African country that was in the top 10, and also to every millionaire out there. Hopefully, you guys invested more and also and also make affordable and the environment affordable for more Africans to be millionaires. The name is Rashi. This African time. Thank you for your time.